Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Rivalz Race Chat. Clint Jeffrey here as we get set to spend another hour with you fine viewers and friends as we talk in the off-season. It's been a crazy week here, and it seems like the off-season, just when you think things are going to slow down, you realize that they're going to get just as crazy as ever. We've got some big announcements have been made in the past week. A couple more things came together at the Ohsweken meeting for you Ohsweken fans. Snowball Derby was this week as well. So we've got Matt Weaver coming on from Auto Week to discuss what went on there in the past couple of days down in Florida. Adam Ross will be joining me here shortly. We're going to have Gary Clute join us. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about. So our first guest for the night will be Gary Clute. Now, Gary, welcome to the show. I think you've been on. This is the second time you've been with us this season, which is awesome. We talked to you right before the trucks at CTMP. We've talked to you tonight because with the big announcement of the Pinty Series on dirt at Ohsweken Speedway, and we'll roll all that out in a minute, you kind of tie into both of our big show, which is the Crate Nationals, is kind of the triangle that brings us all together. Now, you've not only got experience as a NASCAR Pinty Series veteran, you did spend a fair amount of time behind the wheel of a crate sprint at Ohsweken. So what were your thoughts when this all came together?
Oh, I mean, I think it's been a long time coming, with the ARCA series and now the K&N series and the truck series, obviously, at Eldora. I think it'll be a good show, and I think it'll be probably the biggest oval race of the season. Yeah, I'd put money on it.
So is this something that you look forward to getting into? Because you've been kind of running a part-time seasons for the last couple of years, kind of pick and choose the races you wanted. You said today you weren't sure. So what's going to make the decision here for you, Gary?
Fundamentally sponsorship. To be fair to our sponsors, I think we've got to go out to CTMP and run those races. They're extremely big, and we've got a shot at winning it. But that will be the next one on the list. If we can get a little bit more money together, definitely Ohsweken. Having a little bit of dirt experience there, and 100-lap races are awesome. A lot less exhausting than the 300-lap ovals that we're used to in the Pinty Series.
Well, I was obviously in with all the talks right from the get-go on this deal. From the idea it was spawned, and we came together, and I went to Eldora last year, and I figured to me that was the way to go. The same type of setup. So, as a guy who runs the Pinty Series and runs dirt, do you think that's a cool deal to be running 10-lap heats and then a feature to run after 100 laps? What we saw with the tires, it didn't look like they were going to need tires at all. So one set, can you make 100 laps on Ohsweken in an NPS car as they sit now?
I hope so. I'm excited about the heat racing. Normally with the oval stuff, we kind of get our practice, and you go out and you kind of try and live with whatever kind of setup you have for that feature. But the heat races should be good for some testing, and I don't know. I'm really curious to see how the track holds up and the track condition at the end of the night. I think if guys are spinning their tires, they might not be able to make them last, but who knows that, without any testing, that might be the key to being, up front at the end of the race, having good tires.
I would bet my kids on it that it's not going to be an issue at all. And I go off the experience of having the World of Outlaws there, who really rip these tires a lot more than the Pinty's cars are going to. And they don't even make a mark. Ohsweken clay is famously over the past few years it's very soft. It's not abrasive. It doesn't beat up the tires. I can tell you after about 200 laps or so with DJ Kennington and Andrew Ranger at the test, the little nibs were still on every tire. They didn't even knock the
Clint,
It's going to be crazy. Oh, Adam just jumps into the call. Hey, buddy.
I've been here from the start, but you were on a roll. It doesn't hurt. Oh. There are no rocks in the Ohsweken clay, right? So you're right about the clay being super quality, but there's also no stones and rocks. And I mean, that'll rip the rubber right off of tires, and we're pretty fortunate.
Well, to keep the track talk going, Gary, I can tell you how it's going to be. It's going to be hard packed like it would be after the Outlaw race. We specifically set it up and paired it up with 2 days of 360 cars. So it is going to be a slick, hard ice rink. I don't expect there to be a lot of dust at the end. It's going to be a classic, what Jordan would call the high shine, and it's going to be a wild affair. Now, you know, no changes, Gary. What, you got any buddies out there? What's the rumor mill saying?
Sorry, you broke up there.
I said, what's the rumor mill saying? You got buddies out in the industry and drivers and crews out there. What's everybody saying?
I don't know. I think everyone's just really excited. I've been couple dirt guys have reached out to me looking for see if they can run one of my backup cars or something out there. So rumor mill, I think, it's gonna be a big show, I think.
Well, I guarantee it's going to be a big show. We have a lot of other announcements coming out, and for those of you fans who are kind of on the fence, Pinty's guys' first time on dirt, I can tell you, it's going to be every bit of spectacle that you could ever imagine. We've already been talks with a lot of guys. I can tell you, my phone's been ringing up in the southern end of things. We talked to a lot of big name drivers in the past week who are also trying to get with cars. So just like the Classic Ush Weekend big events of the past, you're going to see some major superstar power coming down there in the next couple weeks, and it's going to be amazing. So, Gary, that's the other thing I want to address, that is car counts. Car counts, everybody says, okay, 20 cars is a solid asphalt show, some of the smaller Pinty's deals. I'm hoping for a car count of 28. I'm thinking we can get enough cars out of the barns on rental guys. Am I out of my league there on that estimate, or do you think that's a possibility?
No, I definitely think that's a possibility. Some of our bigger road course races in the past, we've had over 30 guys. So, this is such a cool deal, and I hope a bunch of dirt track guys will come out and find some rides for it. Even some oval guys, and maybe even guys will bring out some older cars that they weren't thinking of running anymore. But hey, I'll give it one last shot at Oshwegan and see how it runs. And hopefully there'll be some kind of one-off guys too that'll make it a yearly thing.
Yeah, I think when we mix in the solid Pinty's field they've got, you take our that we'll bring in a few of them, and then you look at the end where a guy a Dave Bailey, and we'll talk about him here when we get Adam live with us on camera. There's a whole campaign going right now to get this guy a ride for Dave Bailey, and it's been fun to see it all take place. So, Gary, we'll look to talk to you coming up a little bit more on that as we get into it. For fans, stick around here because I want to talk to you about the next setup here. For fans, if you want to go, Spencer's got the screenshot there. Tomorrow 9 a.m. tickets go on sale for this event at our weekend and all our other major events. You go to link, so npsondirt.com. We'll get you everything you need, and it's going to be a super exciting event. What gets me excited about this is I have had calls from a lot of veteran dirt fans, veteran asphalt fans, mainly people who haven't been coming to see us at all these events, have been calling asking for camping reservations and tickets. So I think we're the dirt fans and all the asphalt fans. It's going to be a major event. Media still to be announced. The coverage is going to be awesome on that, and you're going to see lots of lead up to it. So, Gary, going back to Ush Weekend, the 2-day deal with sprint cars now, we know what kind of track it's going to put together, but let's talk about the crate deal. You spent some time behind the wheel of a crate. Any chance of getting you back out?
Oh, I'd love to come back out. It's just a matter of putting the effort in and finding a ride over the winter. But I'd like to make a little bit more of a serious campaign at it and come out for sure. Especially if we put together that Pinty's ride. I think it'll be super important to get a bunch of weekends in a car there and see how the track progresses over the night, and just have a little bit of knowledge and be able to anticipate what's going to happen later in the night in that Pinty's deal.
With the Pinty's deal, they're keeping the cars almost identical. What's your thoughts on that? You guys aren't going to be allowed to make a lot of changes, so that's going to kind of keep cost factor down, but having to run a windshield and things like that, it could make things interesting. So your thoughts on having to keep the cars as they are to go to dirt?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of have to keep them how they are when it rains on a road course. You make your bed at the beginning of the weekend, and it's cool. Hopefully that leads to a good race and no one just kind of running away with it. Whoever hit the setup well. So hopefully that leads to a real good race, and then I hope everyone kind of sorts their stuff out. Like when we have to race in the rain on the road courses, hopefully everyone will figure that out and be able to see out there.
Well, we're good. Adam, are you with us?
Yeah. Just listening to the interview with. I love the excitement that Gary has because it's natural. I think he is excited, and I think he echoes what I've heard a lot of behind the scenes. Clinton is just such an unknown, but I think people have a lot of faith in your ability and Glenn Steyer's ability to make it all a spectacle.
Yeah, it's good. It's going to be super cool. As you know, Adam, Gary's obviously smiling because if he's not famous for his drive,
yeah, Gary's almost always smiling in my experience.
You got to get with me like the angry face.
Oh, no angry face. Even it's more just.
What's going to be the biggest shock for these guys when they get on dirt?
For all the Pinties guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think the biggest shock for me is getting on a real slick track. Is how you can't put the power down. It's so tough. You've got to find the grip. The Pinty's cars don't have a whole ton of power. It's not a super late model. So getting the power down and finding the grip, I think that's going to be a big shock when you just do a burnout and go nowhere on those first couple laps when the track is polished up.
Yeah, I guess so, right? Because when you think how they go ahead, Adam.
Who's got the best shot, Gary? Who do you think goes into this event that everyone's kind of pointing to, saying they're going to be the one to catch?
I don't know. I think it's a real toss-up, Adam. You look at the truck race and you say, okay, well, obviously Stuart Friesen should be, the man and walk away with the show. And then, you watched it this year and the number 2 truck was dominant at the beginning of the race. And there's all sorts of guys. So you always kind of expect the guys who are real dirt racers and have done it forever to be fast. And, sure, they're going to know where to move around on the track. But, it's racing and it's the first time we're there. So there's so many factors. I wouldn't bet on anyone.
That's fair. Now people need to remember too, Andrew Ranger grew up at dirt tracks. His dad was a dirt racer. So I almost compare it to you, Gary. You grew up around road racing, and when it came time to do it, it was natural to you. You're really good at it. But it's what you're brought up around also. So I kind of wonder, will Andrew Ranger be able to draw from that, from all the nights he spent at Granby and Drummondville watching his dad?
Yeah, I mean, also, thinking about Ranger, how good he is on a bike and an ice bike. He's just good at whatever he gets on and gets to race. So, I don't think he'll have any issues there, and I'd expect him to be fast for sure. And then whoever else has had kind of dirt experience, and then all the dirt guys. But it's a 100 lap race, so it's whoever gets up on the wheel and just makes it happen, I think.
Before we take a look at some of the test footage, I sent Spencer a video that I took just standing on turn 3. This was their first couple laps out. So that's one thing DJ Kennington was saying. He was most impressed is that, you guys go out and you may pick up a 10th or 1,000th on one of the asphalt tracks, but here they're picking up 1,000 or second every time they go out. And they were like, wow, man, the swings are huge here. And of course, they tried a bunch of different things. But before I jump into that test footage, Spencer, with Adam and you here, Gary, let's look at the Oshweekend guys, and the crates in particular, Gary, because you're associated with that, whose families have asphalt experience. Talk about growing up on the road race and growing up on the dirt. What about these kids who have grown up on the dirt but families come from the asphalt backgrounds? I'm talking about DJ Christie and Nick Sheridan, who's in the APC deal. And what about even an old veteran like Rob Neely, who was a CASCAR guy back then? Now he's out on the dirt in the crates. First to you, Adam, and then we'll throw it to Gary for thoughts on that. Adam, okay. Gary, you then. What's your thoughts
Sure.
on that?
I mean, I think that's going to be a huge advantage for those guys who have worked on setting up both asphalt cars and dirt cars. There's only going to be so many guys in the pits who have had that much knowledge and that much experience on both. So, when the setup does come into play, they're gonna have a little bit more understanding, I guess, of what to do there. And we'll see how it goes, but it might be one of those things where it's just a crew chief's race. And see how set up the car can be. Some guys might be totally off, and some guys might be, on rails.
That's what we were talking about. Even if it went awry where someone's really got a dominant car, that's the thing about dirt. They're going to put on a show even if they lap the field 6 times, So anyways,
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be like that. I think it's going to be amazing. I think everybody had the same type of concern about when you took the Camping World Truck guys and put them on dirt a few years ago. Were they going to be able to handle it? Was it going to be a shit show? It turned out to be a great race. Okay, so let's talk about lap times. That's the other big thing that people say when they shit talk a deal like this. Okay, oh well, the lap times are so, of course. And as we're watching the test, I'm standing there with Tony Spiteri from Pinty's, and he says, "What do you think?" And I said, it's all relative. If you put 28 of them out there and they're all the same car, it's going to be a show no matter what the lap times, whether they're fast or slow. We heard the same thing when the track glossed over with the Outlaws. Some of the diehard fans were saying, the lap times were too slow. Well, if you come to World of Outlaw race and you're complaining that the lap times are too slow, you're either like a savant or a super purist. Like even me, I don't even ever care about lap times. I don't know. Maybe it's a dirt thing. It's like, how hard was he hanging it out? We don't worry about lap times. Anyways, so let's go to the footage, Spencer. Let's take a look, and hopefully, Gary, you're available. You can see this. This is Ranger out there for the first couple laps. So he's just getting the feel of it, and obviously that was the first time they've been out there. So it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. I gotta say, from where I stood, was there another video I sent you too, Spence? If you can play that one. It just looks super cool. The cars, the way they drift into the corners, looks a lot different than our cars and cars in our street stocks. It's going to be super exciting. So all I can say is get your tickets tomorrow and get your camping reservations, because I think they're going to go fast, Gary. I really think the buzz is going to be good. And win, lose, or draw, good race, bad race. And I shouldn't say that because I'm the promoter, but I know it's going to be an amazing deal. We haven't lost one last week, and they've all been awesome so far. But I think it's going to be a spectacle. And I think it's going to be something that you're going to want to say you're a part of and to be at. The other thing that comes into deal is cost factors. Here's the other video of them. Nice and smooth, hanging the corner. It's going to be a good one, but So yeah, it's the only peak you're gonna get, because we got that in about 2 days before the snow came, and before we could announce it, we had to make sure the cars could even get around. And I gotta tell you, it rained hard like 3 days leading up to it, and we were worried we were gonna get test off. Gary, I was crapping, but Jordan and Glenn got to get it all together for the test, and they were impressed by. Hey, Adam, welcome to the show, buddy. I know you're hustling down the highway to get back tonight.
Yeah, welcome home.
The dog's this is why the dog is here, because he's so excited that I got home that I got to balance my time. Gary, good to see you. Clint, your hair is on point.
I'm just growing up. Everybody's on me. We'll talk about my hair after we get rid of Gary. What do you want to add to the Gary show before we kiss off Gary tonight?
You know what? Not too much. I mean, if you're a fan of racing, you've got to be a fan. Actually, if you're a fan of personality, you've got to be a fan of Gary Clute. I mean, if you could mold a few more, if Gary could commit to a full season of Pinty Series racing, maybe we could get some Ontario competition for all these Quebec champions. But that's what I have to close with, Gary. Get out there and get selling.
Sure, I'll work on it, and hopefully we can be in the midst of a championship fight when we get to Ashwegan.
Perfect.
All right, Gary,
that's all I wanted to hear.
Much.
Yeah, thanks, guys, and is so thankful for what Pinty's has done for this series, and now Oswego, and a bunch of great guys behind both those organizations. So I think it's good for the sport. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Gary.
Well said.
There he is, ladies and gentlemen. Gary Clute, veteran here of the NASCAR Pinty Series, and drove a season of crates for the panels team with Alex Schutz. And how that got started, Adam, is I don't remember where we were. We were somewhere with Gary, and we got talking. And he said, "Hey, man, you think I can get a crate sprint?" And I knew Alex had one out there that they weren't running, and we put the deal together for him. And it was great to have Gary. I mean, for us to have someone of his caliber, he's not just raced the NPS stuff. He's done a lot of stuff all over the place with his dad too, right? Oh, yeah. So they've raced a ton. Sticking with the NASCAR Pinty Series again, going to beat this horse a little bit because we want everybody to know tickets go on sale with camping reservations tomorrow. Brand new ticketing system that we've done, Adam, and I got to send a shout out to showpass.com. They're going to be our new ticket. We just signed a 5-year deal with them. And Katie has been working her butt off from Calgary with me all night to get this done. I must have called this poor lady 55 times since 2 o'clock this afternoon to get ready for tomorrow. But we're going to have new seating maps. It's going to be really interactive and easy for you guys to buy your tickets, we hope. So tickets go on sale 9 a.m. tomorrow. The easiest place to get information is to go to npsondirt.com. That's NASCAR Pinty Series on Dirt, npsondirt.com. Check that out for tickets. Now, Adam, since this came about, the buzz has been going, the rumor mill's been flying, all kinds of stuff's been going on. But Spencer, you got that screenshot I showed you of the 49 of Dave Bailey. They've started a campaign, Adam, out there on Twitter to get this hashtag, get this guy a ride. He hand drew a picture of Bailey's 49. And
who drew it?
It's someone on Twitter. I seen it passed around. And that's my, you know what, speaking before we go any further, I'm a Twitter idiot. I got to say, I never got into it. I heard they were talking about it. It took me forever to find it. But someone was replying to a Joe Plazic stream on Twitter that led me to this with Bailey. So they're starting a campaign to get this guy a ride for Dave Bailey, which is cool. So check that out. Hashtag get this guy a ride. The other thing is Joe Plazic. He's another guy that had tons of dirt experience, did race with the Pinty Series back in the day. We threw it out to him on Facebook, and I think he answered it on Twitter before I got to it, and he just sidestepped my question and ignored it. So I'll take that as a not interested from Big Joe Plazic. But I think his racing days are done and behind him. But you think about those guys out there, and there's so many crossover people who could make this race amazing.
Oh, a lot of people. I mean, it's a big story. That's the thing. It's a buzz. It's going to be a spectacle. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I think the one thing that I'm excited about is to see who actually puts together rides. So you've got the names that we've heard on the show already, Stuart Friesen, all these ones. I'll tell you where it started. My list of guys and fans right now, comment on who you want to see us bring in. We bring in the stars. We've had Tony Stewart, Kyle Larson, Casey Kane, Rico Abreu, Christopher Bell. Who do you want to see? I'll tell you who my short list was when we started the meetings. I'm standing in front of all these NASCAR guys. I'm thinking Stuart Friesen and Christopher Bell if they could have won their championships, and this is back in September we're talking. So those guys are obviously on the short list. Kyle was amazing. We had him. So to get him back, now we've got 2 days of 360s. So let's talk about the way it could work out, Adam. So you're going to have guys who are going to come in just to run the Pinty Series possibly. You're going to have guys who are going to come into that 2-day show to run 360 sprint cars, like a Rico Abreu to rest right now. I spoke to Rico. He said he is not able to race the Pinty's cars. It would be just too much work to get him comfortable and fit it in the car. But what he did want to do is bring his 360s back for those 2 nights and be a part of the show from the car side of things, because he said the fans treated him amazing. They had an absolute blast, and he ran so good. Won one of the nights up here. So look, we're going to try shortly here. He's checking his schedule. We're checking our deals to make that happen. Stuart Friesen, I have had talks with Stuart, so we'll see how that comes about. I don't think I'm letting the cat out of the bag to say that, Adam. I mean, everybody knows, from this area, won the Outlaw race, won the Eldor race, won so much stuff. I spotted for him at CTMP. There's an association there. So, he's fishing for some information. It's so cool to be in the middle of it all. But I think one thing we need to do, Adam, is I told you this, we need to figure out a list of drivers who have or teams that have cars for rent and see if we can do some matchmaking.
Well, the first call
Matt
I would
Williamson's
make
name comes up too.
Yeah, I would call Jim Bray. Jim Bray loves the series. He does anything he can to support it, and he loves Weekend Speedway. And I don't know how many cars he still has. We could be 3 cars sitting there that he'd bring out.
Yeah, definitely make that happen. There's a lot of cool things we do with those series.
We should skip ahead. I think. Do we have Matt on the line, Clint? Can we go to Matt and talk Snowball Derby? Even though I don't want to keep him waiting. He's a big deal. Matt Weaver is the man.
I am so sorry, Matt. I totally forgot you were hanging on the line. Actually, I'm going to give it shit to Spencer on this because I told Spencer as soon as we get Adam, bring me Matt Weaver. So you've been hanging out. Spencer didn't want to cut me off. We'll talk about Kenny Wallace in a minute too, guys, and Christopher Bell. We'll get back after we talk to Matt. Matt, welcome. Matt Weaver from Auto Week is here to talk about the Snowball Derby with us. Matt, thanks so much for being on Rivalz Race Chat. Fans, if you have any talk about the Snowball and want to bring it up, we'll pass them on to Matt. I'll turn it over to first, Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, we're going to do a live mic check here. Can you guys hear me? Are we good?
We're awesome.
We're awesome. Adam, y'all hear
loud and clear. Matt, you are a race chaser extraordinaire. Snowball Derby, where does it rank in your calendar year? Where does the Snowball Derby rank?
So for guys who don't know what I do, like I pretty much pick my own schedule, and I do the Daytona 500, I do the Indianapolis 500, I do the Chili Bowl, I do a lot of racing. I try to get to Canada as much as possible. I love the Pinty Series, the APC Tour. But to me, as a Gulf Coast native, the Snowball Derby is my favorite race. I say all the time, this is my Indy 500. This is my Daytona 500. I've been going to this race since I was a kid. I've only missed one since 1997. That race was on a Tuesday, so work got in the way. To me, it's the coolest pavement. I'm not going to disparage my dirt friends, but it's the coolest pavement short track race on the continent, if not the earth.
And did it deliver this year?
It was the greatest spectacle in short track racing. I don't know if it delayed a traditional barn burner race. I was entertained. Those who were able to make it back out there on Monday night, they seemed entertained. I'll say this, and we can get into it here in a minute, but the biggest takeaway to me was that I don't want people to the wrecking and the crashing, the demo derby. That's what short track racing in the South is. And there's kind of this stereotype because of Bowman Gray. Everyone thinks that everything down south is Bowman Gray, and it's not. And this week, for whatever reason in Pensacola, it went straight up Bowman Gray. And again, I'm entertained. It was a spectacle. It's not the norm. And if we have one of those every 6 to 8 years, I'm okay with it. But it was not for a lack of drama, and Ricky Brooks in the Room of Doom strikes again.
And let's go back a couple of weeks. Can you shed any light on Ricky Brooks leaving New Smyrna Speedway?
Yeah, there's several things. I think the straw that broke the camel's back there at New Smyrna, and I don't know this story too well because I was in Phoenix doing the NASCAR stuff. And I understand that was the week he got ran over by a Florida modified, and he wasn't able to take the Pro Late Model main event. And there was a disqualification, and Ricky overturned the disqualification, and the track overturned it back. And I think there is just a disagreement on how that officiating process should be ran. And I think Ricky, just because of several circumstances, decided that if he wasn't going to have control of his tech shed, if it's not his tech shed, then it's going to be someone else's. And, they parted ways, and New Smyrna is going to bring in the CRA Super Series out of Indiana to come down and run speed weeks.
Huh. Well, that explains it about as clearly as it can be explained. And let's go backwards again, Clinton. So Matt Weaver, if you don't already have him on Twitter, Facebook, on any of the socials where you can find him, Matt Weaver is the link between mainstream Clinton and what you and I love so much about short track racing, because like he says, he gets to do Daytona 500, Indy 500, and give that kind of coverage. But he is also, oh, Clinton, you're going to hate this. Oh, you're going to hate this, and I'm going to love it. He also loves the grassroots stuff. He loves chasing racing, and he loves professional wrestling. Choke on that, Clinton.
Ooh, yeah.
Ooh,
Did you know,
it's all
Clinton,
right.
that Kyle Busch? Did you know that Kyle Busch won the TV championship in the WWE 2 weeks ago, Clint?
I didn't see that. And we can discuss this after Matt's not here, because my feeling
Matt
on
Weaver
both of
wrote
those
the story.
subjects.
Matt wrote the story.
And got paid to do it.
And
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
But anyhow, just to give some feedback, because I'm sure we've got some local audience, Matt, that probably isn't familiar with the work that you do, but hopefully they will be. They'll find you on the socials, because you are plugged in. Always fun to hear what you have to say. What are your thoughts of the Pinty series trying out this dirt thing?
So this is so wonderful on so many different levels to me, because as you guys know, I've been coming to Canada now for a couple of years. When I was a kid, I loved watching cast car races on speed channels. I've always had this kind of fascination with Canadian stock car racing. So as I got a little bit older, got a full-time job, and started to travel more, I've always wanted to go to Canada for the Pinty series. Finally did that last year. I've done a couple of more races this year, and every time I come up north, everyone tells me that Pinty's is cool. The APC series, they're pretty awesome too. But if you're going to really enjoy Ontario racing, it's all on dirt. And I'm more of a pavement guy than a dirt guy. I grew up racing dirt. I'm a third generation dirt racer, so I feel like I got the dirt stuff out of my blood by the time I got to my 20s, and certainly now in my 30s. But everyone says you got to go to Ashweekon. And I'm like, I just don't know how I can make that work, because usually if I'm spending the effort and time it takes to get all the way up there from the Gulf Coast, it's something that I tend to cover pretty regularly. So the moment that I heard that this could be a thing a couple of weeks ago, I was like, oh my gosh, please happen, because like everyone says, go to the Big O, go to the Big O. And now we get to go to the Big O with the Pinty series, and hopefully the support classes are there, and I can get a taste of what you guys do on a regular show. But the fact that it's on a Tuesday evening, there's no other conflict in racing. Hopefully you guys can get some good outsiders, some drivers from the South. I'm going to be there. I can't wait. I think it's going to be a good show too. You guys were talking about it earlier, the Eldora analogy. I think these cars are even better, honestly, for dirt than even the truck series at Eldora. So short version, I cannot wait.
Right on.
Awesome.
And
Clinton, one thing that they've been saying, Adam, about this is that the Pinty's cars get digged on for their lack of technology. But when people say this race is exactly that, because this is old school technology on old school dirt, it's going to be awesome. So we actually brought Matt on to talk about the Snowball Derby. So Matt, this past weekend we talked about how crazy it was, a spectacle. I think it's always been that way. But there have been some amazing racing. Well, what was the best part of the weekend from your perspective?
Well, to me, it's a very romantic thing, just because, again, I grew up there, and I hate that the weather played such a role on Sunday, because my favorite thing to do is I wake up on Snowball Derby morning and I head to the track and get a cup of coffee, and there's the pre-race ceremonies, engine heat at noon. There's the church service going on at 9 o'clock in the morning. And, a lot of people who I often see in NASCAR circles, and they're there too. And so you learn, and this is where I'm going to sound really elitist, you learn who in the NASCAR circles are true racers, because they're the ones who were there on Snowball Derby Sunday, and some of them before Sunday. And so just being able to experience the festival atmosphere, the charm, all the pre-race ceremonies leading up to the race, and the race is special. But there's just a handful of races to me. When I wake up in the morning, there's this kind of aura. And the Snowball Derby, as I said it earlier, Daytona, Indy in the morning, and I have a soundtrack playing. I start dancing around. Like it's one of only a handful of events that don't feel normal.
Yeah. Oh, that's, you know what? Well said, Matt. Really well said. The only other question I've got for you, Matt, is what are your thoughts on Cole Pearn?
So anyone who has listened or talked or been in a media scrum with Cole Pearn, we all use the word shocker, and I'm guilty of it too. In my story for Auto Week, I use the word NASCAR shocker. But I think you kind of have to do that in this industry. It's part of the rules of being a publisher. But it's really not a shock. Cole Pearn has always said that he's not going to be a racing lifer. He's at a unique point of his life to where he's only 38, 39. He's got kids, a wife, and he's able to step away on his own terms. And I think there's some of us here, I think all of us here having this conversation, we're racing lifers. We're suckers. And, eventually when we leave is going to be on someone else's terms, and we're not going to have that luxury. And for Cole, who's already won a championship, he's won numerous races, made 5 championship 4s. I think that 38 weeks a year is just not doing it for him anymore. He's accomplished a lot of the things that he wants to. He's a super talented, brilliant engineer who could apply those skills literally anywhere. And I'm curious to see what he's going to do, but I'm not surprised. He's got priorities, and I think he's checked off the boxes and on to the next adventure.
Man, you nailed that one too. Now Cole, we grew up together. I'm a little bit older than he is, but we raced go-karts at the same time. So I've known his family for a long, long time. And I did send him a note privately. I said, congratulations. I think your priorities are right on the money. And he hasn't looked at it yet. Last time I sent him a message, it was a week or 10 days before he looked, because I think he is just that. He's grounded. He knows what he wants to be doing, and that's pretty admirable.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt, for being with us. We look forward to talking to you in the future. And now you're part of the family. You're going to be stuck with us.
No, anytime you guys want to do this. Love talking racing. Can't wait to see y'all here in a couple of months at the Big O, and talk to you guys there. Talk to y'all soon.
Sounds good, man. Thanks so much for connecting. Cheers.
Adam,
you know what, Clinton?
Go ahead.
I'm a fan of Matt Weaver. He's good for racing. He's one of the good guys. Does great things for the sport.
You always need solid media out there to push it. And Matt seems like he's got that little bit of pizzazz in the writing and, passion. You can tell by the way he talks. We just saw the Rivalz Elite Pro League there at Lernerville for the first time, a new build here on iRacing. So that's cool. There you see them in the lower third. And we'll jump in maybe in the B before we go to the Ace. Or, let's hear a bit of the C. I could listen to Steve Evans call races kind of like you and Greg Callan all day long. I love it. Let's hear the call to the C main here for a minute, Spence.
Stoudinger rides right now in position number 3. So it's Stoudinger and GT Smith. Right now, your final transfer cars. Rick Scott is right there within striking distance.
Oh, GT and Rick, all our buddies
right
in
there
it.
with him. And now Scott will go after GT Smith. Scott is a little bit loose off the corner. Seems to be spinning the tires just a little bit on corner exit. Right now he's fighting a tight race car going in and a loose race car going out of the corner.
Got to get up to the top, doesn't he, Adam?
Exit. Now he's going to try
get up there.
Boy, it's hard.
Line. But right now, GT
Yeah,
Smith
you really want to be right up there
fourth
on the cushion.
and final transfer spot. The battle's shaping
Rick
up
told me
here
it
for
drove
the
a lot
2
like
spot
us
right now. As they have 2 laps to go, and Stoudinger is going to take the 2 spot away from Jeremy Zarfos. Some excellent racing.
I have been told once you get up
C-Main.
over the edge of this racetrack, you're done.
GT Smith holding on to that 4th and final transfer spot. Nygaard takes the white flag. 1 more lap around the Lernerville Speedway, and boy, they don't last long here. 0.4 of a mile, and Jason Nygaard leads laps 2 through 8 to win tonight's C-Main.
That's awesome. Thanks, Spencer. We'll get back there to the A-Main as we end our show every week with the Rivals Elite Pro League. Adam, it's been amazing to have all these new drivers come in, all the other leagues going on Mondays and Wednesdays and everything. It has blown up. It is time. I'm giving you an assignment this week, big guy. Your assignment is to put together an email campaign for iRacing to get Oshweekend Speedway scanned by all of our friends and buddies involved in the Rivals League and the Oshweekend Renegades and the Oshweekend Retreads and all that other stuff. Let's make it happen. I mean, you saw, I'm sure, Dale Jr. and those guys cleaned up North Wilkesboro this week to get it scanned. And I think our time has come to get iRacing to come. So, Adam, we're going to put together a form letter that everybody can send off and make that happen. What do you say to that?
Sounds good. Sounds good. We also have to do the official release of the Asphalt Series. It's going to start in January. Xfinity cars, Wednesday nights. Did we decide we're doing that, Clinton? I think we did.
Decided. I told you
You
nothing
need to
more
get a
than
rig.
that.
You should be racing with us.
I'm okay to watch the sprint car guys, and I would love to do it, but man, I keep saying the asphalt stuff. You know, Rick Scott offered me his rig one night. I'm gonna have to go out and give it a whirl. And have some fun. All right, so we have a couple more things we want to talk about. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's not easier than dirt, but it's less explosive than the dirt racing. Like the asphalt, you know, you might be a little bit slower, but you're not going to flip off the end of the racetrack. You can hang in there. Plus, pretty much everybody's going to qualify because we can start up to 40 cars. So, I mean, you'll get out there and you'll get some great seat time.
It'd be awesome.
And the reason I was late tonight is because I was in Toronto helping TJ Renamato, the NASCAR Pinty Series Rookie of the Year, get his iRacing rig set up. And then he offered me a steak dinner. And how do you turn that down?
I knew you weren't going to. We got to acknowledge a couple of our sponsors. Then we're going to get back. We've got about 15 more minutes of chat here on the Rivals Race Chat. If you got something you want us to cover, throw it up in the comments and we'll get to it. Want to thank Six Nations Bingo. Whether you're looking for a new experience or you're a bingo fanatic, Six Nations Bingo has been the preferred choice for players for over 20 years. Easily accessible off Highway 54 between Brantford and Caledonia. They offer the largest and friendliest bingo hall in the region. Join them for their mainly big events and holiday specials coming up. Check out Monster Bingo, Super Sundays, and Must Go Jackpots. They also have 24-ball bingo and monthly birthday specials. Six Nations Bingo, 2585 Chiefswood Road, just outside of Oshweekend. Actually, in Oshweekend, north of Oshweekend Speedway. Want to thank one of our other sponsors, Jibs Action Sports, for everything they do for us. Of course, browse the latest selection of pro scooters at Jibs Action Sports, and they've got a whole line of trick scooters. They're Canada's favorite scooter shop. All their products are specifically designed for freestyle use, and whether you like to shred at your local skate park, cruise around with your friends, or conquer your favorite street spots, you find the perfect complete scooter at jibsactionsports.com. Check them out online or visit them at their store, Guelph Line in Burlington. All right, Adam, we had a whole bunch of things on the rundown, and then when you were late, I changed it. I was too late to change it. Spencer never got my changes. So I'm trying to think. We looked at the Bailey picture. Okay, I do want to get back to that discussion. Chili Bowl chat. So quickly, we're going to talk about Chili Bowl chat with Scott Kruder and then talk about the indoor series. But Scott said he got tied up at the end. They're doing some renos. Said he wants to come on next week. So for next week, we'll have Scott Kruder to talk about his new association with Dan Anacoke and Nitro 54. I know he was at the Oshweekend banquet looking for some support to run the Chili Bowl and the New York and I guess it's New Jersey and Pennsylvania. They're all over the place there, the Northeast Indoor Series. So good luck to Kruder. We'll have him on next week. We did talk about the Snowball Derby. Time for our Burger Barn video of the week. Adam, I don't even think you saw this because it was sent to us actually by Brad Ovens, our Rivals Elite Pro video producer, who sent us our Burger Barn video of the week. Roll the video. Have it, Spencer. This is a midget car getting into the pit area where everybody's standing, and it's scary as heck. But it just goes to show why you shouldn't be standing where they're standing. Okay, pause right there, Spencer, if you can. Okay, so look at all these people standing here. There's no fence. The wall is just the Jersey barrier. And there's 20 people standing there. Are you able to back that up or play that again, Spencer? And then we'll let it play all the way through. Watch where these guys are standing at them. It's just a recipe for disaster.
On a track like this, you're absolutely right.
Especially with wingless midgets, you know?
Yeah.
Just watch. Whoa!
Well,
Hopefully
it
everybody has their
reminds
head
me.
up there. let her play, Spencer, while we talk, and turn it down if you can. So people are just jumping there. Go ahead, Adam, talk.
It reminds me, years ago, I was going to Peterborough Speedway with Rob Howden to cover the super late models. They were there with the TQ midgets. And I think we probably raced go-karts that morning at the Waterloo Club, so we were a little bit late getting there. Practice was underway. We were pulling into the pits, and 2 ambulances were pulling out. I think it was Mark Samet who got up airborne going into turn 1 through the billboard area, and people were allowed to stand there, and he mowed down a couple of them. I don't think the injuries were life-altering, but they weren't good. I mean, it's just crazy where people will think they can stand.
Hey, we love the sport, and you want to get close to it, but you really got to watch what you're doing, and it is dangerous. Like, we put up signs at our Weekend Speedway. My sign there that I had Steve Lyons build first couple years ago, it's right outside the tech barn there. It's right when you come in. It basically says, don't text and walk. Keep your head up and watch for flying everything, because stuff flies. It could be a car, it could be mud, could be a rock. All right. So the rundown is basically off. I have a few things I want to discuss quickly, Adam, and then I do want to go back to the Pinty's discussion a little bit, as tickets do go on sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. Canadian Crate Nationals. The time has come up as we're building the schedule. We had 46 cars show up to the Northern Summer Nationals last summer, and that showed us it was time for the Canadian Crate Nationals. The 360 Nationals is going into its 16th year in 2020. This year, we're going to host the first ever Canadian Crate Nationals. The Quebec series is building. They're expecting to have 10 to 15 cars down in Quebec. So we move, and there's at least 10 new cars coming from outside of Ashweekend now that we know of. I can let a cat out of the bag. Dinning is going to crates, I know. So it's going to be wild, Adam. We could possibly have just as many cars at the Canadian Crate Nationals as we do at the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals in its first year. Thoughts on that?
Yeah,
and then I want to talk about the purse.
And it's only a matter of time before it exceeds the Sprint Car Nationals, and for good reason, Clinton. It is affordable, competitive, technically monitored. What's the term for that? We actually tech the cars. It's great racing.
Yeah. Brandon Merle had his car out for sale on Facebook yesterday. $16,500, Adam, for a race-ready car. $16,500 for a car that can win races. A sprint car. That's I'm so proud of that the division is that cost-effective. All right. But here's the big thing, Adam. Okay. It was brought up. We were talking about the Ashweekend rules meeting, which we had on Sunday. 83 drivers bought memberships, or 85, I think it was. Amazing that many drivers come out to buy memberships and are gearing up already for 2020. I think in the crate discussion, rules discussion, I announced the Canadian Crate Nationals. I don't have a sponsor yet. We'll work it out. And Daryl Turford actually put up saying, he said, I know my owner's miles are going to want me to put Parker Price Miller in a crate car. So we right up on the spot came up with a rule that said you have to run 5 crate races prior to that to be eligible. And first, your thoughts on that to keep the ringers out?
Yeah, Parker. There's people who have no business running.
But if you're putting up good money, now here's what I offered to take it further. At the time, I offered 5,000 Canadian for the win and a brand new 602 crate motor and the conversion donated by DSC. So you were going to get a brand new race-ready motor and 5,000 cash. Well, that's when it discussed. You're going to have ringers, Dylan Westbrook, Parker Price Miller trying to jump in to grab that money. So we made a rule. You must run 5 crate races prior to the event to be eligible. Now, that's cool. Here's the other thing, though. The driver said don't pay that much at him. So they looked at the schedule we handed out, and the next day is the Canadian Sprint Car Nationals. And part of that is we're just having a crate race the next day because we got them there. We're going to have just crate race. And we need another class to fill in the gaps between the Nationals. You can't run right from the last heat right into the C. You got to give them a bit of time. So we put another division. We're going to run the crates again. So you know what the guy said? Don't pay the motor and the thing. Pay one or the other. Well, the motor is actually worth more than the $5,000 cash. So we're going to set it up, and this is so cool. We're going to let the driver pick. So we'll have 2 big checks ready, one for a motor, one for $5,000 cash, and the winner gets out, and we're not going to know what the winner is going to take home. I think that is a fun little twist that us announcers are going to ride like a beaten horse all summer long.
That is awesome. And quickly, we're about to get into the A main with Rivalz. That is awesome, Clinton. And next week we should talk Sauble Speedway. I don't know if you mentioned the new rules package they've come up with there. It is way outside the box.
No, we didn't get into that. We can talk for another minute or two. Or they almost at? Yeah, you're almost ready to go. We're gonna throw it over to Stephen Ovens here for the call of the A main in just a moment. But good things happening in Ontario, folks. The ODCC, there's not a lot of rules changing on the dirt side for the mini stocks and the street stocks. Most things are just clarification. And on the pavement side, they're working hard to get the same type of arrangement together to get common rules for the bone stocks, mini stocks, and street stocks at a bunch of the pavement tracks in Ontario. It's about time. That's our mission, Adam, is to get somebody on board who can discuss that with us next week. I actually talked to Alex Nagy, and he was part of the super stock discussion. So let's try and get Nagy on to talk about their big events at Jukasa. We'll talk about everything going on. I got to pack my bags. I'm off to PRI tomorrow, so we're going to bring back some more contingency stuff for Rush Weekend. If you're at PRI, send me a line. Let me know. We can maybe have some lunch, and it's going to be awesome. So that's all we got to say. Send us home, Adam, and Stephen Ovens coming up with the call of the race.
Enjoy the heck out of that trip. Enjoy Indianapolis. It's a fantastic town, and let's watch some sprint car racing. This is going to be awesome.
Keith Jackson will go away from fourth, a transfer from the Ohsweken Outlaws Renegades division. Row 3 to the inside will be the 2 of Cody Hartlaw out of Hanover, Pennsylvania. The Glenn Stiers Racing number 2 to his outside, and car number 84 out of Vittoria, Ontario. The Glenn Stiers Racing ride, that is Ryan Beagle. Big Dog will go away from 6th. Starting 7th tonight will be Kevin Lovies out of Montreal, Quebec, Canada, driving for Glenn Stiers Racing. To his outside, the DirtTrackDigest.com 44 of Adam Buchanan out of Brewerton. Dakota Kuhn and Stephen Goldner will make up row number 5. Row 6 will be Peyton Grease and Jesse Costa. Now your B-main cars. Row 7 will be Ernie Williams Jr. and David Flick. Row number 8 will be Alex Stoudinger and Jason Nygaard. Row number 9 will be the 19 of Alan Downey and the 20X of Kevin Ridley. Jim Smith and Chris Steele will make up row 10. Row 11 is Jeremy Zarfos and Larry Moody, and your final starters tonight, the 51 of Jeffrey Barker, the 4 of GT Smith out of Tampa Bay, Florida. All right, race fans. They've never raced here at the Lernerville Speedway with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. You're about to see it right now. And my good friend Gary Montgomery at this portion of the racing program would always say, race fans, it's time to sit down and hold on to your seats, because these men, by the grace of God, iRacing and 800 horsepower, are ready to go to work. The green lights are on. The very first Rivalz Elite Pro Series feature from Lernerville is green. Logan Rumsey will lead the first competitive feature lap in Rivalz Elite Pro Series history here at the Lernerville Speedway, and we are under yellow as we come down to complete lap number 2. Yellow lights are on for the first time tonight as the pace truck pulls a Dukes of Hazzard coming off of the pit lane. As Brad Ovens working away in the 3-9 streaming headquarters in Penn Yan, working away at all the buttons, clicking here, pushing buttons there, got the whole hamster wheel working. As we are under the yellow here on lap number 2, now putting lap number 3 on the board, 3 in, 27 to go. And here is your Rivalz Elite Pro Series replay. Looks like we had some trouble going into turn number 1. Wow, Kevin Ridley gets around, and Ridley definitely had some help there. So tough break there for Kevin Ridley, who now will restart in position number 24. Tough break there for the Great Sportsman competitor out of Waterloo, New York. Regular competitor out at the Land of Legends Raceway. Several feature wins, and pretty interesting statistic between him and one of his other competitors. was really him and the other competitor, Kane Bristol, fastest car in hot laps almost every single week out there at Canandaigua this year. Good to see Ridley on board with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Coming back to the green flag, this time by, and Rumsey leads us back to green. Look at them fan out 3 and 4 wide into turn number 1 as they storm off of the second turn. This racetrack has got a lot of racing lines that these drivers are going to be able to use, and those racing lines are going to change quite a bit over the course of 30 laps. 30 laps doesn't sound like a long time, but when you got 24 cars pounding and beating on this dirt track, the track surface is going to change quite a bit as this race goes on. Oh, we've got one car sideways at the start-finish line. Yellow lights are on, and we're under caution here on lap number 7. And yeah, one car was sideways. Looks like I believe that's Peyton Grease. Grease got a little out of shape on the cushion in turn number 4. Alex Stoudinger nowhere to go. There's your Rivalz Elite Pro Series replay. And yeah, it's very easy to do here at Lernerville. This track has only been on the iRacing platform for less than a week. Actually, just exactly a week. And I got to tell you, the turn 4 is a very, very tricky place, especially when you're running the cushion all the way around. That concrete barrier in turn 4 comes at you quick. And if the car is out of shape or not handling just exactly to your liking, it's very, very easy to get out of shape, as you saw happen there to Peyton Grease. So as you see the pace truck brought to you by Strickland's GM in Brantford, Ontario. What a the headlights showing off a little bit of an outline of a chicken's foot. You gotta love that. Here we go. Coming back to green flag this time. Logan Rumsey's led from the drop of the green in that CSI Shocks number 41. Look at him. Right by that orange cone in turn number 4. Green lights are back on and we're racing. Rumsey brings it down the back straightaway, and here goes Bergeron with a slider. Battle for the lead in turn number 4. Bergeron will lead lap number 12. 12 in, 18 to go. Here comes Rumsey with a slide job of his own. Bergeron turns it back down underneath him. Troy Wagaman watching right behind them from position number 3 as Bergeron will lead lap number 13. But Rumsey with the slider in turn number 2 one more time. Bergeron turns it back underneath him. New race leader to turn 3. It's Bergeron one more time. Keith Jackson, if there's a cushion at a racetrack, Keith Jackson's going to find it. He rides in position number 4. Look at him, almost 2 by 2. Your top 4 cars going into turn number 3, and here goes Wagaman with a big slider in turn 4. Bergeron turns it back underneath him, and look at this, folks. Your top 7 cars under a blanket off of turn number 2. Ernie Williams Jr., who's clawed his way all the way from winning the B main, right now running in that top 7 positions. Cody Hartlob down to the inside lane. Hartlob trying to take a line that nobody else is running, and he gets that power run off of turn 2. Reminds you of something you might see out at the Weed Sport Speedway. As Wagaman, slider in turn 4 again, but Bergeron is true off the corner. 3 wide for the race lead off turn number 2 as Hartlob. Now it's a 3-wide battle for second as Hartlob, Wagaman, and Rumsey all do battle. Jackson and Ernie Williams are right there with him as Bergeron leads it to turn number 1 here on lap 18. 12 laps to go. Rumsey spun the tires off turn 2. Wagaman will get by. Now Jackson will get by. Slider in turn number 4. Rumsey's out of shape. gathers the 27. Yellow lights are on as Wagaman is now crashed into the inside of the front straightaway. Oh, we're going to have all sorts of looks for you here. I did not see what happened to Wagaman there, Brad. Wagaman was running in the second spot. So let's watch him here off of turn number 4. Oh, Jackson got a piece of Wagaman there, and that's where Wagaman went down into the infield wall. Oh, a tough break there for Troy Wagaman. Jackson, who pulled the slider in turn number 4. Rumsey. A little bit of contact there. Got another Rivalz Elite Pro Series replay. As you can see there, as you rode on board with Jackson, contact from the 13. And Wagaman goes around. So field now working lap number 21. We've got 9 laps to go. Should be getting the white flag this time by. I've got another Rivalz Elite replay for you. Let's watch them as they come through turns 3 and 4. Jackson with the slider, and then a little bit of contact with Wagaman. Rumsey just got a little bit out of shape as Jackson slid up in front of him for the position. And with as slick as this racetrack is going to get, hard to keep control of that car as it comes around. Kevin Loveys, we haven't really talked a lot about him tonight. He's riding in position number 4 right now. Alex Staudinger, who qualified, and Staudinger, who doesn't have a front wing on the car from damage, is currently in position number 5. Green lights are back on. We race to turns 1 and 2. And look at them, 4 wide for the second spot as they work off of turn 2. It's Bergeron in the lead. The battle is on from second on back there, 3 wide for 4th as they come off of turn 4. Now Bergeron will go to the inside portion of the speedway. Jackson going to stick with the cushion as Jackson will bring it through turns 3 and 4, trying to chase down the Rivalz Elite Pro Series dominator here so far. Winner of the last 3 in a row, and 5 out of 7, I believe it is now. Bergeron leads coming up here on 4 laps to go. Keith Jackson runs in position number 2. And now here goes Logan Rumsey with a slide job into turns 1 and 2. Rumsey completes the slider. Jackson turns back underneath him. Jackson right through the middle, and now we'll let it drift up to the high line off turn 4. Rumsey is there. Now Rumsey will go down to the bottom. Slide job in turn 2. New second place car. It's Logan Rumsey. Jackson could not keep the momentum to turn it back underneath him. As now Alex Bergeron takes the 2 laps to go signal. 2 to go for Team ABR. Oh, and the yellow flag is out. Yellow lights are on. And that's going to set up our first of 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. Oh, and a little contact under the yellow flag here between Rumsey and Jackson. Oh, baby. Things are getting heated here with less than 5 laps to go. Brad working on a Rivalz Elite replay, and oh, there it is right there. Rumsey. Little swipe at Jackson to let him know he's there. So here's your top 5 as we get ready for a green-white checkered finish. Alex Bergeron leads. Logan Rumsey is 2nd. Keith Jackson 3rd. Ernie Williams Jr. 4th. Ryan Beagle, your top 5. And Brad, I believe it was the 27 of Kevin Loveys that was involved in that yellow, as Brad's got a replay dialed up for us here. Ernie Williams comes off of turn number 4, and this happens behind Williams. And it was Jason Nygaard, the cause for the yellow. Nygaard got caught up in that one. So there's your Rivalz Elite Pro Series replay. So should be getting the white flag this time by. Nygaard started in 16th, and now with the crash will be shown in 22nd position. And that's a big story because that's your points leader coming into tonight. That's a big story. Nygaard has been one of the more consistent drivers in the entire season so far here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, and this is going to be his first DNF of the year. So coming back to green, it'll be a green-white checkered finish. Our first attempt, if we're unable to get to the checkered flag before the yellow flies, we will have a second attempt. Green lights are on off turn number 4. Here goes Bergeron to turn 1. Logan Rumsey's going to run the cushion to try and put some momentum together to give a run here at Bergeron. They'll bring it through turns 3 and 4. Bergeron's going to take it up to the cushion. Rumsey will follow him there. White flag is on the racetrack. Final trip around here for Alex Bergeron. Down the back straightaway for the final time. The Pit Logic, CSI Shocks, BK Designs. Number 12, another Rivalz Elite Pro Series win for Alex Bergeron. Second across the line will be Logan Rumsey. Ernie Williams will bring it home third after winning tonight's B main. Keith Jackson, Ryan Beagle will round out your top 5. 6 through 10 is Alex Stoudinger, Jeremy Zarfos, Stephen Goldner, Cody Hartlob, and Dakota Kuhn. 11 through 15 tonight is going to be Chris Steele, David Flick, Larry Moody, Alan Downey, and GT Smith. 16 through 20 tonight is going to be Kevin Ridley, Jeffrey Barker, Peyton Grease, Jim Smith, and Jesse Costa. And rounding out your field tonight is going to be the 44 of Adam Buchanan, the 22 of Jason Nygaard, the 27 of Kevin Loveys, and the 23 of Troy Wagaman Jr. So Alex Bergeron starts third, brings home the win here tonight. And we are going to go ahead and head down trackside to hear from your top 3 finishers tonight. And we're going to start it off with third place finishing Ernie Williams Jr. Ernie, you have built up a little bit of a reputation here to have to come from the alphabet soup. You won the B main tonight to get into the A, a third place finish. You got to be thrilled with that.
Yeah, we need to get a good qualifying set. My qualifying sets are not the greatest. And even though I started outside of row 1 on my heat race, I forgot to put fuel into my car. So I ran the heat race with 3 gallons of gas and really didn't even think I would make it to the end. But I managed a 5th, which put me on the pole to B. But, yeah, I couldn't really run my car very hard in the heat race. So it kind of put me in behind the 8 ball from the get-go. My fault. But, yeah, the B main and coming from the back there, I knew my car was good. I just wish I could start up front sometimes, just to run with Bergeron a little bit or 5 more laps. I at least figured I could have got second. I don't know if I could have got around him, but I probably could have ran second if we had a few more laps.
How frustrating is it to have, good a car that you had tonight? Just know that the things didn't fall your way tonight to be able to really shake car ahead.
Yeah, like I said, it all started with the heat race. It kind of was put me behind the 8 ball from there. I mean, luckily I finished that race because you finish last and I got to run the seat, and you just don't never know what's happening. But all in all, the car's good. It's just kind of frustrating to have a lot of cautions there towards the end. My car seemed like the more I could run it, the better it got once the tires got warmed up. And she was on rails tonight at the cushion, and it's a little frustrating, but we'll take third place. It keeps me in their points. I'm running third in the points, so I was more or less just counting on the points night to start. I started 13th, so I really 13th to third. I planned 5th, 4th or 5th. I was telling the guys, so anything above that I was happy. Ended up being a podium, and so it was a little better than what I expected for where I started.
So we've got a few weeks off now here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series here through the holidays. Is that going to give you that time you think you need to be able to, work on these qualifying setups and give you guys that little bit of edge as we hit the stretch run?
Yeah, absolutely. Matter of fact, we just started. Our main focus is to qualify setups right now. We got plenty of race setups, and most of them are decent. Some of them need a little tweaking, but for the most part, we don't even have qualifying setups because we just don't usually make them. But day before yesterday, we've been sitting down, and that's the main focus right now is get good qualifying setup with the Pro Series qualifying coming up, and that coming up in springtime. And even in the league races, everybody's running them now, so you don't get away with nothing. When you miss something on your setup or you miss a line, it shows tremendously in the qualifying deal. You miss your line, you're half a tenth off, and you're eighth quick. So they're tough. They're tough people here. It's always the best of the best drivers. They make sure of that, and you got to be on your A game from qualifying to the A to whatever you race in. If not, you're going to be in trouble.
Well, great job to you tonight, Ernie, to bring home that third place finish. Tell us about the folks that make it happen for you.
Absolutely. Black Diamond Motorsports helps out a bunch. Tim Nichols with Tim's Dirt Track Simulators, Howard Johnson with Lima, Kier Speed Shop, Fremont, Ohio. A lot of people behind the deal, a lot of people the means and the money to do some of the stuff that we love, and we got to give thanks to them. Thanks to the fans for watching, sticking around. I'm sure it was a good race to watch. 3-9 streaming, Turn 5 Media. You guys do a great job. Can't wait to go back and watch it, and hopefully we can keep this deal getting on the podiums here, and we'll see you guys in 3 weeks, fellas.
Sounds good, Ernie. Great job tonight.
Yep, thank you.
All right, there's Ernie Williams Jr. finishing in third place here tonight. We're next going to talk to a guy who led the opening 12 laps of this race, had a solid run all night long. Logan Rumsey comes home in position number 2 here tonight. And Logan, tell us about your run here tonight. Started off in a great way, leading a lot of laps early.
Yeah, I set quick time there. Got a little lucky in qualifying, won the heat race. And the feature, I didn't really have a setup here. Never ran 360s. Alex is always the best you can race with. So I was just trying to run around the top, not go over the bank, and we got second.
Tell us about, you guys had a little bit of an incident in turn 4 there, about halfway through the race, maybe a little bit later after that. But tell us, because there was a lot happening there. There was like 6 or 7 of you guys all running underneath the blanket there in turn 4.
Yeah, once Alex got around me, I just kind of got stuck in that little blanket of drivers, and that guy kind of threw his short side job on me and right reared me, but we got it back together.
How difficult is it to, when something like that happens, that you just got to put it out of your, you got to put it right out of your mind and just go back and just focus on attacking the next lap, the next restart? That's got to be tough to do.
Yeah, I knew all those guys were kind of running like a lane off the top, so I could just run the cushion and get around them.
And that seemed to be working for you late in the run there. What more did you need to try and give Alex a shot?
A tighter car. I could have worked more time on a setup. I just put my 410 on, and Alex probably practiced a bunch for this race, so I'm fine with second.
Well, a great job for you here tonight. Tell us about some of the folks that make it happen for you.
Yeah, my mom, my dad, Full Send Racing, and Cody for putting this race on, and you guys for broadcasting.
All right, great job to you tonight, Logan.
Thank you.
All right, there's Logan Rumsey finishing in position number 2 here tonight. And now we'll bring in the guy who picks up the win here tonight. And, Alex Bergeron, I got to tell you, I wasn't sure. I thought this race was going to be, really a wide open deal. Not a lot of guys have got laps here in just the week that the track's been out. But I think you showed tonight just how strong your team is. You come into a track that not a lot of people, including your team, has a ton of laps on, and you get the job done.
Yeah, we had a couple of races this past few days with VLR and the SCCS and all the other series where they were in Lernerville. So not a lot of laps, but still a couple of races there and there, and happy to get the job done tonight. Jason got involved in the wreck here tonight. Made the show, but incident there at the end. But even though I think we're gonna come back strong in 3 weeks, actually 4 weeks. So great win here tonight. Car was great. First couple laps, it just got up to right behind Logan there, and we exchanged a position, and we went out from there, and it was a fun race for sure.
Tell us about racing with Logan tonight. This is his first start here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, and he had an incredible showing. He's quite a young little racer.
Yeah, he's fast for sure. He's known for midget racing, and it's cool to see him run sprints, and have more guys to run here. So it's fun to see him coming true, and it was a fun race with him for sure.
Tell us about your impression so far about racing here at Lernerville. Certainly the racing that we saw within the top 10 tonight was just phenomenal. This track seems to really lend itself to some really, really good close racing. What were your impressions here tonight?
Yeah, my impression, it's the track is fun. It was very slick tonight. I think I never seen Lernerville that slick since it came out. So it was kind of new to me for this track. I know how slick it is, but this is more than slick. So we've seen the bottom come in a little bit, but during the feature it was pretty much middle to top lane. I don't know in the back how it was in the middle, mid pack. But I know for leaders there it was middle to the top, and that was the fastest way around. But I'm sure there were plenty of lines to run and to have fun with this track. I'm sure it was a good show for fans out there.
Tell us a little bit about what you saw visually, because we saw it on the video tonight that as this track got slicker and slicker, it started kicking up quite a bit of dust. Did you guys notice that at all while you guys were at speed?
Oh, absolutely. On my Oculus, I barely can see anything. It's especially in the back straightaway and coming out the corners. It's full of dust and just like the real thing, honestly.
Well, that's awesome. I think that's one of those cool improvements that we've seen here with the service, because if you want to really simulate what drivers go through on a week-to-week basis, I think you had a great taste of it here tonight.
Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
All right, Alex, great job again here tonight, picking up another Rivalz Elite Pro Series win. Tell us about some of the folks that make it happen for Team ABR.
I gotta thank Jason Nygaard. He helps me a lot, and we accomplished a lot of stuff. And I'm very proud of what we're doing as a team. I gotta thank my girlfriend as well. She works hard on this too, and couldn't be happier about this. Everybody that supports us, all of our partners, CSI Shocks, PitLogic app, BK Designs for all the iRacing paints, Myring Farm Equipments, and everybody for watching, all the fans out there, my dad for always tuning in, and you guys for broadcasting. It's awesome to have a great broadcast like you guys. And Rivalz Racing for putting this league up in this series. It's a pleasure to be here, and we're having a ton of fun.
Alex, real quick before I get you out of here, I know you've mentioned these guys several times with your race wins this year. You mentioned PitLogic. Can you tell us a little bit about what they provide?
Well, it's from competition suspension where they provide racing shocks, but PitLogic is a application for either your phone or a tablet, or you're at the racetrack or at the shop. You can put in your setup from the rail race car. You could actually do this for iRacing, but you can do this for a real race car, and it's just helpful tool for everybody on the racetrack. It's just either midget or sprint car, or you can put in your setup and just save it, and no need to put it on your sheet or folder. You have it in your phone or tablet, and it's ready to go. So it's way easier, and go check it out. Facebook, PitLogic, competition suspension. It's all related, so you can get the app on App Store at PitLogic. So just have fun with that.
Gone are the days of the binder and the three ring paper, right?
Yeah, it's way better. There's still a lot of people using sheets and stuff, but I highly recommend it, and it's worth a try.
Awesome. Hey, great job tonight, Alex.
Thank you.
All right, there's Alex Bergeron, winner tonight here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, and giving you a little tip about something that might help you out with the iRacing team or even your race team out at the Ohsweken Speedway or any other dirt track, pavement track that you might venture out to in your racing travels. Hey, what a race here tonight at the Lernerville Speedway. Absolutely thrilled to have so many people. We had so many live viewers on the live stream tonight. We want to thank you for all of your support. I want to thank the support from the Rivalz Elite Pro Series, Clinton Jeffrey, Adam Ross, Cody Olson, our race director, everybody that helps make it happen. Spencer, the executive producer of the Rivalz Race Chat program that helps put all of this together. I want to thank our executive producer from 3-9 Streaming, Brad Ovens, for doing such a great job in the 3-9 Streaming studios. I want to thank Strickland's GM, our great sponsor of the Gauntlet Series event. Again, you can see the Rivalz Elite Pro Series Gauntlet race every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. You can visit us online to find out more information as well, rivalzracingleague.com. That's Rivalz with a Z, racingleague.com. And you can also find us on Facebook, facebook.com/Rivalz Racing. On behalf of the entire staff here with the Rivalz Elite Pro Series and 3-9 Streaming and Turn 5 Media, my name is Steve Ovens, saying thank you so much, folks, for joining us tonight. Congratulations to Team Alex Bergeron Racing's Alex Bergeron for winning the inaugural event at the Lernerville Speedway for the Rivalz Elite Pro Series. Good night, everybody.